Hello everyone, my name is Umi Farwa and today's tutorial topic is if-else statement in different languages. Here is the agenda of our tutorial. We're gonna see if-else statement in C language, a little overview of PHP and Python also. We will also perform the practical implementation of all of these three languages. Let's have a look of the flowchart first of all. In case of if-else statement, first of all, it will test the expression. That means it will test the condition. If the condition is true, it will execute some specific portion of code. And also in case of false statement too, statement in else branch will be executed. For instance, let's have a look in case of expression is true. In case of expression is true. For example, the value of test is 5 here. So that means if test is less than 10. So currently the value of test is 5. So that simply means that 5 is less than 10. It will execute this portion of code. Else will be ignored because the if statement is true and it will simply ignore the else portion. In case of expression is false, for example, let's have a look at the second case. Here the value of test is again 5. 5 is less than 10. 5 is less than 10. No, 5 is not less than 10. So it will not execute this portion of code. It will simply execute this portion of code. So the body of else will be executed here and not here. Let's quickly jump to the practical section of if-else statement. For instance, we want to check that either A is greater than B or not. We just want to check that either some integer A is greater than B or not. What we will do, first of all, we will simply initiate A. Let's give them some value, 10. Terminate that statement, integer B, assign some value, for example, 20, let's say. What we are doing here, we are just initializing some variable having type integer and also assigning the value. For example, as per the syntax of C, what we will do here, we will do if A is greater than B. What we are saying that if A is greater than B, perform some specific function. Okay, we will see what we will write over here. We will just print some value that either A is greater than B. In case of else, we can also give some condition over here, but for time being, we are leaving that portion empty. Like there are many other statements like if else. We can give some more condition in case of if else, but right now we are not writing anything over here. We are just checking that either A is greater than B or not. So what we will do, according to this statement, it is saying that if, in other words, I can say that if 10 is greater than 20, as the value of A is 10 and the value of B is 20. If the value of A is 10, that is 10 is greater than 20, perform some specific task. But we are saying that, okay, show some message that A is greater than B. Fine. What we did over here, that if 10 is greater than 20, just simply display a simple message that print A is greater than 2. In case of else, we can also write multiple statements over there. For ease, for time being, we are saying that, okay, if A is not greater than B, obviously B is greater than A, or B is greater, right? Let's execute this code. Okay, B is greater. According to our result, it is saying that B is greater. Let's compile it. Let's recheck this code again, that why it showed that B is greater. As I already told you, the value of A is 10 according to the scenario. Value of B is 20 according to the scenario. So in the first case, it simply checks that if 10 is greater than 20, then perform some specific task. 10 is not greater than 20. 10 is not greater than 20. That's why this portion of code was not executed and it simply jumped to this portion of code, right? We can also play with this code. For example, we can write, okay, let's write if A is less than B. A is less than B. For example, this is some message. Okay, A is less than B. That simply means the first portion of the code is executed, that is A is less than B. That is 10 is less than 20. That's why A is less than B. There can be many other operators we can use, like greater than, less than, or any other combination. Now let's jump to the PHP section. Don't worry, this is the way that how to write the PHP script. For example, initialize some variable having x, the name of the variable is x, the value is 100. Let's say. And we again want to check that if that value x in PHP we use $sign for the variable, for all kind of variable, either it is integer, either it is string, whatever the kind of variable. If $x, currently the value of x is 100. If the value of x is greater than 90, perform some specific task. It can be anything. For example, we want to say that, okay, x is a greater number. If x is greater than 90, we want to print, like if I compare this one with the C, here we use the printf statement. But here we are using the echo statement. Echo means to print something. We just want to display some message that, okay, x is a greater. X is greater. From what? From 90. Okay, that's it. We can also write the else statements here too. But for example, if we execute only this portion of code, let's have a look. Okay, x is greater. What if we change the value to 10? It should not print anything, right? Because 10 is not greater than 90, right? 10 is not greater than 90. So in this case, we can write else statement too. For example, I'm writing else echo x is a smaller number. right? X is a smaller number. So that's so simple. Now let's jump to the Python section. Let's write the Python code. For example, the first variable is a equal to 10. The variable is a equal to 200, let's say. Now we are going to write that either a is greater than b or not. We'll simply write if a is greater than b, print a is greater. Okay, what was the issue? Like if I compare this code with the previous one in the PHP and as well as in the C language, what we did, we use these parentheses in order to define that this is the body of if statement. But in case of Python, we are not using any parentheses or curly brackets. We use indentation, that means spacing, in order to tell the compiler that this print is the body of this if statement or if condition. For example, we can write the else to else print b is greater. Simple. Let's run this code again. Okay. What was the issue? Brackets were missing over here. Let's try again. Okay. B is greater. What will be the answer? It will print A is greater because this number is greater than 200, so it will execute this portion of code. A is greater. Again, if I move this print to this portion, let's try that either it will work or not. Okay, there will be errors like expected an indentation block, means there must be the proper spacing while using the Python code. Let's compare once again the three if else statement. This was the code for C language, Python, and the PHP. I hope you people understand that well. Thank you.